Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Six Figure Stylist. And here in Singapore, I'm live from Singapore. Here in Singapore, we're just about to head into Chinese New Year. So, Gong Xi Fai Chan to all my audience. I probably murdered that. What it means is Happy Chinese New Year. So, I know you can't see me if you're listening to this on podcast, but I'm actually wearing red and I'm wearing my Chinese fan earrings today in celebration of Chinese New Year. There is red and gold and lanterns and blossoms everywhere I look here in Singapore. It really is magnificent. And we are leaving the year of the snake and we're moving into the year of the fire horse. And that's quite significant, actually. And many of you may have felt that change in your body. The year of the snake 2025 was all about shedding the old patterns. It was all about letting go of the things that didn't work. It was probably all about the pivoting that I was talking about last week, when during that kind of year, it can feel very confusing. We can lose clarity and we can feel like we're waiting. But that is all over now, and we're heading into the year of the fire horse. And the fire horse is all about action, 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 enthusiasm, and taking the steps, embodying all of the things that we have been working toward over the last year or so. So the fire horse, you should feel more energy in your body. It's the year of taking risks and going all in. So that's where we're at here in Singapore in Chinese New Year. And today I'm talking about what's happening really on the online world. I've titled today's episode, When Likes Drop, Old Survival Strategies Take Over. So if you have been posting online, if you have been showing up online, you will have felt this. You will have felt that there's a lot less likes on your post, there's a lot less engagement, a lot less comments, and it feels different online. People have gone quieter. Now, when people go quieter, they tend to be not as safe to be visible. They feel like it's unsafe to show up and be seen. And that's kind of what you're seeing right now, because there is so much happening out there in the world. Everything seems to be changing, everything seems to be shifting, and people are not feeling safe in their body because, for instance, if you have been posting online like me for the last 7 years and you notice a shift in what's going on, what you'll find is that, oh, this feels different. And you'll notice you don't feel as safe in your body. Less likes, less comments, less engagement on our posts isn't neutral. We do feel it in our body. We feel it in our nervous system. And oftentimes, when we feel like we're not being seen, we feel like unsafe. When we feel like we're being seen, we feel safe. We are getting encouragement, we're getting feedback, we feel that our efforts are being rewarded. When our efforts are not rewarded, we start to shrink back. Now, that's really what I'm going to talk about today, because I'm going to be talking a little bit about what I call invisibility wounds, but what really are protection strategies that we tend to employ when we don't feel safe. And different archetypes will behave differently. Different people will behave differently. So I'm going to talk about the 4 different invisibility archetypes that I talk about, and how this drop in engagement, this drop in people commenting, this drop on encouragement is having an effect on these people. Now, these protection strategies, tend to be very, very old. They're very, very old because we started using or employing these protection strategies when we were very, very young. When we were very, very young, if we weren't seen, we started to behave in a certain way so we would be seen, or so we would protect ourselves, because it's a natural need as a child to want to be seen, to be taken care of, to be loved. So if adults withdraw that love and affection for us, it would be obviously very dangerous. So in many times, this wounding or these protection strategies started very, very early. They started when we were very, very young. So now as adults, we're not even conscious of these. Oftentimes, these protection strategies may have started when we were pre-verbal, before 2 or 3. So while we don't consciously remember us employing these protection strategies, our body remembers. And when we encounter situations now that are very, very like what we encountered when we were a child, our protection strategies are much the same, though we may not be conscious of them. So that's what today is all about. It's really becoming aware of those patterns, those protection strategies that we employ when we don't feel safe in our body. Now, this doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. And I'm going to repeat that many, many times throughout this episode, because sometimes we think that if we're doing something a bit differently from somebody else, or that if we're employing protection strategies, that there's something wrong with us. There is absolutely nothing wrong with us. These are just patterns that we have adopted, usually from when we're quite young. And now we're adults and they're not helping us anymore. But at the time that you employed those protection strategies and those patterns of protection, it was really a very intelligent thing to do for you at that time, because it saved you from pain, it saved you from abandonment, it saved you from many, many things. So it was a very, very smart protection strategy that helped you when you were a child. But now that you're trying to be visible and out there in the world and promote your services and get the attention of people so that they come along and work with you, they're not that helpful anymore. And the first step is always awareness. It's always awareness. If you don't even know that you're doing it, and oftentimes these protection strategies are very, very clever. They will do, it's really your nervous system. It's your nervous system protecting you. And your nervous system is actually your absolute best friend, and it will do anything it can to protect you. So if your nervous system thinks it's not safe to be seen, it will do everything it can to prevent you from putting yourself out there. And it is very, very intelligent, and it will keep you unseen. So let's have a look at what actually is activated when recognition drops. As I mentioned, old wounds activate, or protection strategies. When visibility fluctuates, our nervous system fills in the meaning. And being seen, and when people get on our posts, when they engage, when they write to us, we feel very, very safe. We feel seen, and we feel like, oh, I'm doing something right. When nobody gets on there, and when things actually start to change, we can feel very, very, very scared. Okay, so I'm sharing a slide here. If you're watching this on the podcast, I will put it in the show notes. So don't panic, do not panic. If you can't see it, if you're wondering why you can't see it, it's going to be in the show notes. For those of you who are watching me here on Facebook or watching me on YouTube, you're going to see a slide up in front of you right now. And this slide is When visibility feels unsafe, we protect ourselves in different ways. So I have 4 archetypes that I work with that I have seen over many years of working with personal stylists and coaches. We have the performer, we have the ghost, we have the chameleon, and we have the wallflower. They all behave a little differently once the silence starts happening online. Now, the performer typically is super, super good at posting online. They tend to be, they're not called the performer for nothing. They are, striving, and they are putting their content online. But often what happens is that when the engagement drops away, they go harder. So they strive even harder. If the thought that is going through their head is, if I shine harder, I'll be safe again. So I understand this archetype very, very well, because this is the archetype that I am. And the problem with the performer and the protection strategy that the performer uses is they tend to burn out over time. And getting back in the game is very, very difficult for the performer, because they have pushed themselves so hard and they have strived so hard that they're burnt out, and you may never see them again. They may go back to a 9-to-5 job. They may completely change the industry that they're working on, because they feel a lot of shame then when things don't work out for them. They feel a lot of shame. So they may disappear forever and you may never see them again. But I think the more painful part is that, they just keep striving harder and harder and harder, become more and more forceful. And in many ways, when they do this as well, that desperation can be seen by your audience and it pushes people away. So really and truly, addressing this striving wound of, if I shine brighter, somehow I'll be recognized, somehow I'll be seen, is really, really critical. And I had to heal that wound in myself. First of all, I had to become aware of that wounding around abandonment issues when I was about 2 years of age. But once I healed that wound, now I feel a lot safer online. And I recognize when I go into that pushing mode, and I have healed through that, but I continue to heal through that. A lot of it is awareness. A lot of it is regulating the nervous system so that you make yourself feel safe again. So you feel safe in your body. If you don't feel safe in your body, now I'm not talking about your mind and I'm not talking about affirmations. No matter how many affirmations you tell yourself that you're safe, your body is not going to believe that, because your body speaks a different language to your brain. Where this wounding is subcortical. It's in the body or in the subconscious mind. It is not in the conscious mind. So we have to use the language of the body to heal this wounding, and so that we, don't end up protecting ourselves and not being visible online. So that is the performer. Next up is the chameleon. When the chameleon is posting online, she will be likely to notice a drop off. She's very, 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 very focused on people's reaction to her. And when she notices that people are not responding to what she's putting out there, her tendency is to change and adapt. I'll change to something else, and then maybe people will like me. Then maybe people will comment. Then maybe people will engage and buy my offers. But as she does this, she loses herself more and more. She moves further away from herself. She just gets completely lost, because these protection strategies that I'm talking about, these wounding that I'm talking about, they're nothing to do with strategy. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you do not feel safe, you're not going to be, consistently implementing that strategy. No strategy that I know of changing is ever going to work. We have to pick a thing and we have to give that thing time to work. And if you don't give it time to work and change to something else, you're kind of starting from scratch again. And this is very, very obvious to people who are watching you. Again, I point out these are not flaws. They are protection strategies, and they worked very, very well for us at one point, but they are not working for us anymore. Now, as I go through these different archetypes, I would love you to kind of see if you can identify with one. Do you feel like you're the performer or the chameleon so far? Or maybe you're the ghost. The ghost, again, is very, very different. The ghost is the first one that you will see to be affected by a drop in visibility, a drop in engagement, or a drop in commenting, or just the post not being acknowledged in any way. They disappear really, really quickly because they take it as a personal rejection. So they will tend to withdraw altogether. So maybe they were going great guns for a period of time. They notice, oh my God, my posts are not working anymore. I am just going to withdraw because it's safer for me to withdraw. It's safer for me not to turn up at all than to turn up and not be acknowledged. That is what they're feeling, and it feels really, really painful for them. And they find it very, very hard to consistently turn up if they're not being acknowledged. And as I said, this is not a flaw. It is a protection response because this particular protection strategy protected you when you were a child, and it became a pattern. It became a subconscious pattern that's running in the background now. All of these protection strategies are like a computer program just running in the background that you're not even aware of. You're not even aware of it. And the first step is, am I the ghost? Am I the ghost? Oh, I recognize that's what's been happening for me. And what are the steps that I can take to get out of this pattern? Now, if you're still struggling with which archetype you are, I have pinned a comment at the top with a link to the Invisibility Wounds quiz, where you can go in and you can actually take the quiz, and you will get a fairly comprehensive cheat sheet that you can start addressing some of the protection strategies that you are employing. It will also help you to recognize the pattern. You will also start to recognize, oh, I caught myself. I'm doing that again. I'm doing that thing that the ghost always does. So it's really, really important. Now, the wallflower, when the wallflower sees what's going on in the world at the moment, she really holds back to stay protected. She may not even get going at all. She tried something one time, she didn't get a good response to that, or in her own mind, she didn't get a good response to it. Maybe nobody ever even said anything to her. But in her own mind, she's made up a story about that, and she is just waiting. She's waiting for the time when she's going to feel safe. She's waiting and she's watching, and she hasn't really begun yet. In many ways, that's the wallflower. And again, don't lose hope if you're the wallflower. Once you recognize that this is the protective response that you have going on and that it's not a flaw, it helped you very, very well at one stage in your life. You can overcome all these patterns. That's the amazing thing with the nervous system. It is very, very susceptible to be moved into a different state. And it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is doable, and it is a way to become very, very consistent, very safe. One of these as stylists or coaches that just turns up year after year consistently, whether visibility is up or whether visibility is down, it makes no difference. They are still there, they are still doing their thing. And any of the coaches who are doing this, I guarantee you, they have done the nervous system work, because it is the coaches that are turning up over and over and over again, they feel safe in their body. It's not that they don't have fear every now and again, but generally they feel safe in their body. It's not that they don't have fearful thoughts, it's that they know how to bring themselves back to safety in their body, not by telling themselves affirmations. If any of you have tried affirmations, comment below and let me know. But I think that, affirmations have never ever worked for me. Meditation didn't really work for me for a long time until I learned how to regulate my body, move these protection strategies that I had employed so I could feel safe in my body. So I'm going to pin this PDF, or I'm going to put it underneath the video as well, or in the show notes of the podcast, or in the description on YouTube, so you can download it. There are 2 links in there as well. You can take the invisibility wound quiz as well. And another thing that I have created, it's brand new, it's called the Visibility Lab. And this is really to help stylists and coaches in a very, very practical way, because you can understand what I'm saying theoretically. You can know what I'm talking about it. But unless you actually work with the protection mechanism as it's happening in your body and learn how to move out of it and into action, you're going to stay stuck. So first we become aware of the pattern, then we take small, tolerable steps toward the action. Now, most people try and take a step that's way too big. They get burnt and they go back into the protection strategy, and some people never come out again. If you take small, tolerable steps, the small tolerable steps, you may still get dysregulated. Don't get me wrong. It's not that this is an absence of fear. There will still be fear there, but you learn how to regulate yourself and feel safe so that you can take the next little step and the next little step and the next little step. So this Visibility Lab is all about practicality. The people who come into this course, it's a 6-week course. It's starting in March. We will be working with your situation specifically. So say, for instance, you've never you've never posted before and you need to post. If you are the ghost and you've stopped posting and you need to get yourself back out there again. If you are the performer and you need to feel safety as things slow down in your business, this is the thing for you. So the strategy is kind of the same for everyone, but the protection mechanisms are different from everyone. So some people are hiding, some people are striving, some people are disappearing, some people are waiting. So the steps that I take you through are kind of the same, but I actually employ a different help for your protection strategy. Okay, so in summary, let us talk about what I've talked about here this morning. Basically, what I've talked about is it's not that you need more confidence. People kind of go on about this confidence. If I had more confidence, I'd be able to go out there and do the thing. What you need more of is more safety in your body. When we're safe, we can turn up, we can teach, we can be ourselves, we can help people. When we don't feel safe, all of those things seem impossible to us. They seem absolutely impossible. So, if you want a sustainable business, if you want a way to be able to turn up consistently or even to get started, I think this work inside the Visibility Lab is the way to go. So go in there and have a look. Go in there and have a look and see what you think. Is this the program for me? Is this not the program for me? If you haven't taken the visibility, quiz already, please do that. So, in closing, if this season feels uncomfortable, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means something tender is asking to be met differently. You don't need to disappear. You don't need to strive harder. You don't need to reinvent yourself overnight. You just need to understand your pattern and meet it with kindness. And with that, I'm going to end this week's session. I'm wishing you a very brilliant Chinese New Year if you're celebrating it, and I'll see you all next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.